And here we go, the first quarter. Melbourne and Hawthorn here at VFL Park. A game that could possibly decide. Top spot on the ladder. O'Dwyer charging at the football, trying to get it out of the middle. Through comes Brereton with strength, and
they've reversed it.
He's lost the football, so Brereton, back after a 6-week suspension, has made his intentions absolutely clear. He is back and ready to go to work. Kicks down towards the half-forward line. It's fisted down to Platten. Platten quiet last week towards Dunstall.
Oh, will he make a difference?
Well, he adds a lot of life to this Hawthorn side, Dermot Brereton. And a very vigorous player. And here it is again. The mark to Dunstall. An easy chest mark in the end. No worries about that, but the play was set up with Dunstall, with Brereton in the centre with his strong play. The free kick was reversed, and now with Dunstall with a shot at goal.
25 metres out, almost directly in front. Jason Dunstall shoots, and Jason Dunstall goals. First goal on the board, going to the Hawks.
Yes, well, that's Jason Dunstall's 89th goal for the season. He's been the formful forward throughout the year, and has been very consistent throughout the season. But those two Hawthorn players back in the side, the mark to Dunstall, very good leading player, out in front of Hughes. And he doesn't miss too many, Jason Dunstall, although he just squeezed that one through.
Of course, Hawthorn going into the game still without Chris Mew, and they also lost Russell Green. Now we'll keep an eye on Brereton. There are two of the tough men of football, Brereton and Grinter. Look at them. Grinter on the far right of screen. Now Brereton joins him.
Steve O'Dwyer. He's out to Healy. Now it's David Williams scouting the packs onto the left foot. He goes. Melbourne into the breeze during this quarter. Ricky Jackson. Now it's Grinter backing him up. Onto the left foot he goes, but there's only one man there. It's Russell Morris starting. Now it's a free kick up the field, though, in the meantime, so we'll come back to Melbourne to Brian Wilson. Oh, a shocking-looking kick. Goes straight to Buckenara. Buckenara to Morris. And Russell Morris to Paul Abbott, who's lining up at centre-half back. Of course, Chris Mew still out of the side. Williams has dropped to centre. Kicked off the ground by Campbell. Towards half-forward it goes. Further afield, another kick. But now it's a chance for the evergreen Michael Tuck. Over to Morris, who's making his presence felt early. Russell Morris, a long kick. He's looking now for Collins. Good use of the body. Over the back is Whitman, the two lookalikes combining. Whitman bringing it back to half-forward. Brereton and Dunstall, the ball hits the deck. In goes Brereton. Oh, caught high. And the champion centre-half forward's got a free kick. 30 metres out from goal, directly in front.
Yes, he's made his presence felt already, Dermot Brereton. He really livens that forward line up. There's a free kick against Earl Sporting for the high tackle. And Dermot Brereton not very far out, be kicking from about 30 metres.
Well, he's like a young colt out there. 6 weeks out through suspension, Dermot Brereton, and he crashed into that centre pack at the start, and he's going in very, very hard. A very physical forward. That mop of blonde hair would be a great start if he can put this one through. There's the kick. It's a goal.
And the two champions.
It's possibly the wind advantage. 2 goals from the centre. It's pushed wide again. Socket off the ground. We might see plenty of that this afternoon in these somewhat slippery conditions. Overrun by Wilson. An opportunity now for Langford to get it clear to Schwab. Onto the left foot he goes hurriedly back towards centre wing. Morris is dropping back, but a little too far underneath the football. But the free kick's going back to Curran, who was forced out illegally, and Healy will have to give it back. And Peter Curran will again send Hawthorn into attack. He's got Brereton lurking on the 50-metre line. That's the direction the ball is headed. Brereton edged out, however, on this occasion. It was a 2-on-1 situation at the mark taken by Spalding. Spalding plays on, swings it wide, going past Sharon, but he does have support, and that's in the form of David Williams. Not yet up to centre wing. Williams kicks wide towards line. With him is Langford. Langford traps the ball, was pushed, and will be free kick. His kick coming in towards the centre. Morris is there. Longer now to half-forward. Brereton again, however, caught out of position. Oh, it's going to work for him. He's at the back. Has it now. Chip short to Dunstall. Great pass.
Oh, class.
Yes, it's class written all over those two. And they work so well together. They know where to lead. Jason Dunstall leads to the right place at the right time.
30 metres out from goal. A pretty tight angle. Dunstall shoots at goal. Is this going to be his second for the afternoon? It is. Well, he might have missed last week, Bernie, but he's certainly got his kicking boot on early today.
Yeah, he's showing no effects of that illness that he had last week. Of course, he suffered a slight knee injury in the interstate match against Western Australia also. But he appears to be in top form this afternoon. Here's the kick, spills out to Brereton. Maybe a little bit of luck there involved, but it didn't matter on the end because Dunstall with that perfectly timed lead, and a great pass there from Dermot Brereton.
3 goals straight, the Hawks. What a tremendous start. Greg Deere against Steve O'Dwyer. Kicked off the ground down towards the half-forward line. Gary Ayres playing in front of his opponent, Greg Healy. Gets the kick in, and it's to half-forward. The mark dropped by Whitman. He charges in after it again. Is that a free kick? It is, said the umpire. Not a lot in that one, but it's been paid to Whitman. The Hawks looking very sharp, but we must remember this is how they started off last week. That's a free kick to Dunstall. Now Hughes is in a lot of trouble at fullback because Dunstall's quick, he's strong, and Danny Hughes is not quick off the mark, Bernie.
And they're moving the ball so quickly down in that forward line. They're winning it out of the centre square every time, Hawthorn. There's a free kick. All over Dunstall was Danny Hughes.
Well, what a return to the side. They certainly missed him against the Swans last week. Chance for his 3rd goal from directly in front, Jason Dunstall. And he's put it through. Yes.
Points the difference. Still early in the first quarter, and Hawthorn charging clear. Dunstall, 3 goals to his credit from the centre. O'Dwyer down towards line. Can the Demons reply now? They've got a steady. Up towards Steins, who marks just outside the 50-metre line. Plays on. Hooks it to Jackson at half-forward. He's going to be caught. Tries to get clear. The hand pass comes out. The ball comes to ground. Now the Hawthorn defence pounce upon it. It's Buckenara who gets a quick kick back towards that centre-half back line, and the mark is taken by Deere. Playing on, in towards the centre, over the top of Curran, but he recovers beautifully. Shepherding by Whitman, sees him clear. Now down towards Dunstall and Hughes. Hughes at the back with a big fist, and he's the first to recover. Chasing is Collins. Collins front spot, and he pushes the ball over the line.
Is it too late to change my prediction, Sandy?
Too late, yes.
There's Tony Hall and Richard Loveridge. That was a poor kick by Curran. He really should have put it out in front of Dunstall.
Well, he went too wide, didn't he, Peter?
And too high as the ball is in that forward pocket, but more importantly, it's on the Hawthorn forward zone. Oh, Greg Deere, a clever tap down. Hughes came through. Here's a chance for Dermot Brereton. He's caught high again. Yes, is he? He ducked the head, but the umpire said it was too high again. But he puts his body in, Bernie.
Tremendously enthusiastic, Dermot Brereton. And with his strength on that forward line, here it is again. He's down on the ground.
Oh, yes.
There's no doubt about the free kick against Tony Campbell.
Oh, what a start this by the Hawks. And the 2 champion forwards in everything. Dunstall's kicked 3. Brereton coming in for number 2 from directly in front. He kicks. Oh, he's hooked it a bit. But it's another kick maybe, I think. If he's missed, it'll be another kick, I think. Yes, and 50-metre penalty against one of the Melbourne players. I thought Peter Cameron picked probably against Grinter.
Yeah, he spoke to Grinter and Hughes. They must have been too close to the man on the mark when Brereton had his first kick.
And he certainly missed that first kick, Brereton. So he won't miss this one. He's directly in front. 5th goaler.
Well, that's a great start for Hawthorn. And even at this early stage, it's going to be difficult for Melbourne to get back in the game. But Brereton, he's really missed playing the last 6 weeks. And they have really made a difference to the Hawthorn side. These 2 champion Hawthorn forwards. Here's the free kick against Campbell. And Brereton was just coming up. He hadn't ducked his head. He had been down picking up the ball. And Campbell came in and applied the high tackle.
An incredible start by the Hawks. 5 goals straight.
They look mean, Sandy.
They look very mean. As we said earlier, if you catch Hawthorn on the rebound, it can be very, very dangerous. And could that be the case today? O'Dwyer is back in the centre now. Can he charge up the Demons? Let's see what happens. It's 5 goals the difference, 30 points. O'Dwyer wins the tap out, but they're not taking it away. Morris is tackled high. They're playing in front. They're getting the free kicks. And the advantage is certainly showing on the scoreboard.
Oh.
Yes, there's 8 free kicks to Hawthorn and 1 free kick to Melbourne at this stage, and that's because Hawthorn are in for the ball in the first instance.
Morris towards a pretty congested centre-half forward region. O'Dwyer was pushed. And the ironical cheers go up from the Melbourne supporters as he gets his team's second free kick. Wide to Grinter. Grinter up towards the wing, looking towards Yates. Nipping in front was Wilson. Trying to centre the football. A poor kick taken by Curran, however. On to Collins. Hawthorn forward again. Up towards centre-half forward. Fisted away, however. Morrissey couldn't take it initially. The hand pass, clever hand pass too by Whitman towards Brereton in the square. He's under pressure, goes to ground, but this time the umpire's whistle does not sound for a free kick. And the ball is pushed over the line.
Well, they had loose men, Bernie, everywhere, Hawthorn.
Almost another certain goal to Hawthorn if the handball had been spot on, or it could have bounced up nicely for Brereton. He was running into an open goal.
And John Northey shaking his head in the coach's box in disbelief. Morrissey's kick partly smothered, pushed in towards the pocket. O'Dwyer with a gentle little soccer tactic goes towards Alan Johnson, and he sees it over the line. Alan Joyce of Hawthorn, well, there's no need for him to have a look of panic on his face at the moment. A sensational start by the Hawks. O'Dwyer again. Deer also. Into the air. Deer. A tap back. No one able to get it clear. Healy is at the bottom for Melbourne. And he must be wondering what has hit his team.
Well, the Melbourne forwards haven't seen the ball as the bounce will take place right in front of the Hawthorn goal. Deer, it's down to Tuck. He might kick one. A quick kick is smothered, though, off the boot. In fact, I think he might have kicked it into the boot of a Melbourne player. And the ball is now out of bounds as Buckenara hands the ball back to the boundary umpire. It's about 40 metres around from the behind post. Still in Hawthorn's forward zone, of course. There's Curran over the back looking for Tuck. Now it's the brilliant Buckenara to Schwab. Schwab over his head to Brereton, who's in absolutely everything. This is Scott McGuinness. He nearly gets caught. Hooks it back towards half forward, though. Is that a free kick? No, said the umpire. Grabbed by Spalding. Spalding towards centre wing. Morris is there and Langford. Langford cleverly to Blackman. Now, where's Dunstall? Out he comes now. Well, teammate got in the way. There's Dunstall cleverly, though. Morrissey into an open goal, and he's missed the sitter. First blemish of the day.
Oh, that was a sitter too. Beautiful build-up there again by Hawthorn. Moving the ball with precision into that forward line. And they've got so many players running to where the ball is falling. They're just beating Melbourne on every occasion.
Hughes to bring the ball back into play. Going with a long kick to the outer side. Getting underneath, but too far underneath was Williams. Free kicker will come back. Got a bit of a nudge. So the Demons trying desperately to push this ball out of defence. And their defence has copped a hammering in this opening quarter. He's on the defensive 50-metre line. Melbourne shell shot. Coming over the top, Langford. Loose players again everywhere. Here's an opportunity for Morris running through the centre. Puts it out towards half forward. Brereton's at the back in front. They've got players everywhere, and Peter Curran takes the mark. He'll kick from just inside 50 metres.
And good play by Brereton too, because he could have taken that mark and he deliberately pulled out of the contest.
Curran on a slight angle. The distance should not be a problem. Is this going to be number 6 for Hawthorn? It most certainly is.
To nothing at the moment. A brilliant start this by the Hawks as Russell Morris, a quick kick down towards the half forward line. Up they go again. The loose ball has favoured Hawthorn nearly all day. Here's Grinter, who's got the big job on Brereton. Grinter, the centre wing, Dipier Domenico, punched away for him over the back as Lyon. Here's a chance because Greg Healy's got it at half forward. A hand pass to Wilson. Wilson into the open goal. He ran too far. He's caught. That should have been holding the ball, umpire. He let it go. Schwab. Back to Langford. Langford, he nearly loses it. Now he's got it again. O'Dwyer has it thrown away from him. Brian Wilson caught again. Good tackling by the Hawks. In they go hard after the ball. Paul Abbott there. Kicked away by Ayres out of defence. A chance for, this looks like Sharon charging in after it. Let's see. Yes, it is Sharon with a hand pass. Further afield to Newport. Oh, they're in trouble here, Melbourne. Steins. Yates. Yates sets it up for the forward. Sean White in front. Gowers now takes front position. Oh, brilliant defensive play to Peter Swab. And here they come again. Morris back to Swab. Beautiful team play by Hawthorn. A short pass. And that's Andrew Collins taking the mark on centre wing. Where's Dunstall? No, the hand pass comes back to Domenico. Now he's looking for Dunstall. Out he comes and hits him right on the chest.
Gee, that's great football, isn't it?
Superb, Sandy. The running out of defence of this Hawthorn side is just a pleasure to watch.
Well, he's kicked 3, Jason Dunstall. That was sensational play. And he's a very accurate kick. He's only 40 metres out. He kicks. He's hooked this one, though, and has put it through for a behind. But what champagne football that was.
Yes.
6-2 plays nothing.
Just Melbourne on that occasion. I think Wilson ran about 25 metres when he was running into that forward line.
Grinter brings the ball back into play. Steins is the target. Doesn't try and mark, try to just tap it over the back, but it's picked up by Domenico across to Morrissey. Forward they go again in towards the pocket. The chip away at goal is very wide and out of bounds on the full. Well, Jason Dunstall began the day with 88 goals. He's now moved to 91. And if he continued in this form, you would have to ask the question, can he do it today?
Oh.
It'd be quite sensational if he did. But we've still got plenty of football left as Collins has the ball 50 metres out, almost directly in front. Hawthorn have done just about 100% of the attacking so far. He gets underneath the drop punt, pushing it deep into the square. It comes over the back and is touched through by one behind. 6 goals, 3, 39 points, and that is the margin. Melbourne yet to score as Hughes again. Short to Jackson. Having his first touch towards centre wing, the mark taken by Williams. David Williams on the defensive side of centre wing and not sure where to go. Eventually goes as long as he can. Healy gave a little bit of a nudge. A clever tap on. Now here's an opportunity for stretch as he gets clear and he goes long. Down towards O'Dwyer. With him is Deere. The 2 big fellas push it down. Yates in front of the pack. Can't take the football cleanly. Sock it off the ground. Could this be the first score? Kicked by Newport. It is.
6-3 to a goal, and maybe that will lift the Melbourne side because they've been absolutely shell-shocked. Paul Abbott now doing the ruck work, interchanging with Greg Deere. It's kicked off the ground. The Demons coming forward again. Greg Healy. Well, nearly gets unloaded. Being caught was Lyon. Grabbed by McGuinness. McGuinness to half-back, and the mark has been taken by Russell Morris, who'll be delighted to be back in the team. Off he goes. No one chasing him as he brings it towards Brereton. Oh, nearly a good mark. Just punched away at the split second. Grabbed by Stretch. Stretch towards centre wing. Here's Brian Wilson. Oh, he gets his head nearly knocked off. So it'll be a free kick back with Brian Wilson, or will he relay it up the field?
I see Sean White has been moved from full forward. He's down on the half-back line.
Well, he hardly saw the ball down at full forward. So but they're worried about that Hawthorn forward line. John Northey certainly is. Graham Yates, and they could certainly do with another goal here now. There's Gowers at the back. He's a very good defensive player. To McGuinness. Scott McGuinness bringing it towards Curran. A little bit high for that player, but Brereton waits over the back. Now, he nearly gets unloaded. He taps it on to Collins, which was good play. Now it's Platten going in after it. Was that a free kick? It was. Holding the man to John Platten.
Quiet week last week, Platten, but certainly in business early today. Young South Australian, a veteran now of 66 VFL matches, kicks towards the 50-metre line. Brereton pushed out of it, but there's been another infringement. It's gone the way of Melbourne to be taken by Steins. Gets it quickly across to Sean White, even wider towards Williams. Can't take the mark. Domenico tries hard, but gets beaten. Now an opportunity for Lovett. Ball goes for a bounce, may come unstuck. It is going to Buckenara, twisting his way clear. Domenico is loose, takes the mark, and he get round. Sean White, he can. Looking for Brereton, past Johnson at wing. Grinter couldn't take it. The advantage being played to Melbourne. Back to Johnson again. His kick up towards centre wing, and the mark is taken by Lovett.
Brett Lovett to David Williams, and Melbourne look good when they get that ball moving. Or bad hand pass to Wilson because he was covered, but back it comes to Williams. Oh, Ayres nearly ran through him. They charge in open. The umpire said he did run through him and got him too high in the head. So it'll be a free kick to David Williams, about 60 metres out from goal. He's going to set it up with a high one. O'Dwyer in front. Greg Deere and Abbott over the top of him. The big punch away. It comes towards Whitman. He's unloaded. In they go after it. Michael Tuck's got it quickly onto the left boot. That was clever play by Tuck. Wide, he was looking for Curran. Stephen Stretch will beat him to it. Good tackle by Curran. Strong tackle. He really is a great tackler. Now it's Michael Tuck off the ground to Collins. Back to Tuck. Was it a throw? The umpire said it was a throw against Collins. He didn't think so. What did it, Bernie?
I thought it was.
It looked good though, didn't it?
Yeah, it was a great play if it had gone off.
So Steins to Healy. Greg Healy at centre wing. Towards line in the middle. This man was devastating last week. Feints the handball, then goes longer up towards half forward. O'Dwyer again is the target. The big fella flies in the middle. Almost held it long enough too. Langford couldn't take it. Ayres pulled off the football before he can get a kick. Jackson and Platten waiting for the ball to come out. It doesn't. Abbott. Now Ayres again. Does it well. Out wide towards Whitman and Lovett. Two great youngsters. One by the young Hawk. Towards centre half forward. The kick is a little too far for Morrissey, and it's taken by Sean White.
His kick out wide will find Stephen Stretch, former South Australian, who's been an outstanding player for Melbourne his couple of years here. Sharon to Greg Healy. It's at half forward. Ayres not letting him run away with it. He gets in the handbars. Newport will be tackled. Now that could be in the back. No, it's holding the ball, said the umpire. 6 or 1/2 dozen the other there. It really could have gone either way, as we see Abbott towards centre wing. In front was Lyon. Morrissey into his back. Play on, said the umpire. Here's Ricky Jackson. He is a very quick player and displayed. And then kick towards half forward, and will be marked on Morris. That's 50 metres, I think.
Well, it has to be.
Yes, against Tony Campbell, he'll be brought right down to the centre wing for an indiscretion after Morris had marked.
So Russell Morris, who's struggled to find form, but certainly started off in very positive fashion today. He's been brought right down to the middle and goes long towards half forward. Brereton down towards Whitman. A hurried kick towards Dunstall. Can he use the body? Tries to trap it. Can't do so. Comes off his boot. He's got a chase. It's socket wide. And a chance for Lovett. Shepherding sees him clear. His hand pass. Oh, it's not a good one. It put Jackson under pressure again. Tuck is there for Hawthorn. Gets it out quickly to Whitman. Past Buckenara. Collins is there also. Socket off the ground. Now Abbott. The big fella's away. Centres it. Cleverly. And there appear to be loose Hawthorn players absolutely everywhere. Schwab gives it across to Morris. Morris towards Brereton at full forward. Can't take the mark. Hughes gets a hurried kick under pressure. They're doing everything under pressure at the moment, Melbourne. Steins and Lovett can't do anything with it. Collins is still battling for the football. Gets it back to Whitman. A high kick still in that half-forward zone. No one able to take it cleanly. Morrissey to Buckenara. Tremendous pressure. Collins, a shot at goal. In towards Brereton. No mark taken. Spooned out. I think the umpire is going to give it to him.
Well, I think he may be a little bit lucky to have been paid that mark. The umpire probably blew the whistle in anticipation. Sometimes does happen, but I don't believe that Dermot Brereton held that one long enough.
So Brereton is now going for his third goal for the quarter.
There he was, definitely no mark. Having a look at that in replay, he didn't hold that long enough, especially where he was going for a chest mark.
Brereton now for goal number 3. He makes no mistake. 3 goals to Dermot Brereton, 3 goals to Jason Dunstall, and Hawthorn shoots 7-3-45 to Melbourne, 1 straight goal.
He appears as though he hurt himself a little bit in that contest, Dermot Brereton, but he has really made his presence felt in this first quarter here at VFL Park. Here's a replay of that. And I don't know whether the umpire, I think he paid it for the mark. I don't think he paid it for a free kick there, but whatever it was, I'm sure it wasn't a mark anyway. I think the umpire, as I said, blew it in anticipation.
Well, don't tell me that good key forwards out of a side don't make a difference to a side, because look at the difference with those two in today. 7-3 to a goal. Peter Schwab trying to shuffle the ball out. It's still in that centre of the ground. And we've got just under 4 minutes to go in this first quarter. And the Hawks well on top. They're winning just about everywhere at the moment, particularly on that forward line. There's a quick kick by Steins out of the centre. Here's a chance for Graham Yates if it bounced. Oh, he slips over. Didn't get a good bounce. Now it's Gary Lyon. Hand pass back to Healy. Healy a quick kick towards half forward. Gowers in front. Now it's Scott McGuinness. Back to Gowers. Playing at full back. Gowers brings it towards the centre wing. There's 3-on-1 here, and I think the one's going to win out in the form of Peter Curran. He does. Back to Tuck. Now Michael Tuck onto the left foot. Well, it was meant for Collins, but just a bit slow moving, and Alan Johnson takes the mark.
Johnson on centre wing. Going long, but no one there for Melbourne, and Peter Schwab takes the mark. Schwab over the top of line to Abbott. Morris calls for it over the top. Again, he goes, putting the ball out in front of him. Dipier Domenico will come to meet the football. Claims it now, swings round, going onto the left foot. He goes with a little chip towards the half-forward line. The bouncing ball eludes them all, except for Stretch, who's almost claimed, just gets his kick. Platten gets a shocking bounce. Here's a chance now for Wilson to get it clear. Now an opportunity for Sharon to go wide. And surely this time the Demons will go deep into O'Dwyer country. Over the top, it's fisted out of his hands. At the back is Ayres. A sweeping handball meant for Platten. He finds his target. Platten is clear on half-back. Long over the head of Morris. Dipier Domenico is at the back as well. Can't get the football clear. It comes to Morris. McGuinness. Tremendous backing up by Hawthorn. There's always one or two to assist the one going in to get the football. Morrissey long in towards full forward. Dunstall from behind. Couldn't take the mark. Who's going to be first to it? Buckenara has it fisted away from him by Hughes. Pushed wide to Tuck. Picks it up now. Goes onto the right foot. Just a short little chip. A clever kick too. And Hawthorn will now shoot for goal number 8 for the quarter, and that young man is delighted, and he'll be even happier still if Collins can put this through.
Yeah, that was great play by Michael Tuck. Could have gone for the long kick, but just chipped it to where Collins was. And now Collins only kicking from about 30-35 metres.
Going for his first goal. He puts it straight through the middle.
So the experience of Michael Tuck showing out there on that occasion. He's lined up quite surprisingly on the wing, playing on Stephen Stretch. And he's followed him everywhere today, so he's probably playing a little bit of a tagging role on the wing and really showed his experience there. Here it is. Spills out to Michael Tuck. And look at this clever kick from Michael Tuck. Spotted it perfectly to Andrew Collins.
Well, this is the easiest day the Hawthorn backmen have had in a long time. Right at this moment. 8-3 to a goal. Paul Abbott in there. An underrated ruckman too. Buckenara loses it to Newport. Now off the ground by Greg Healy. Grinter races after it. As we said earlier, big job for Grinter playing on Brereton. All good play by Russell Morris. Allows Collins to give it to Langford. Langford's got plenty of time to steady. I think Sean White might be on Brereton now. In fact, they've moved Grinter, and Sean White has gone. When he went to the back line, he went straight on to Dermot Brereton. There he is, Sean. He's got a huge job because they're being beaten around the packs. Hawthorn really controlling this game. The fist away, comes straight to Newport off the side of the boot. Grinter, is that a mark? No, yes it is. Now Brereton was off.
And a very lucky one again. I don't believe he held that one long enough.
So Grinter on half-back. It's his 50th VFL game today, and it's certainly not the way he would have wanted to have started. Steins at centre wing. Wobbling a punt kick, a poor kick towards Tuck. He couldn't take it. Ayres with strength bursts his way through the pack. Kicks a high ball towards the half-forward line. Spalding couldn't take the mark. Collins couldn't take the football. But it doesn't matter because it's quarter time after a sensational start by Hawthorn. Alan Joyce would be delighted with that performance. Hawthorn at quarter time leading 8 goals 3, 51. Melbourne are 1 straight goal, 6 points. It's quarter time here at VFL Park, and what a quarter for Hawthorn. Bouncing back after last week's shocking loss to Sydney. At quarter time, Hawthorn 8-3, 51, leading Melbourne 1 straight goal.
Hawthorn's champion centre-half forward Dermot Brereton has been afforded one of football's ultimate compliments, to be compared with a footballing legend of days gone by. Recruited from Frankston Rovers, Brereton's high marking, long kicking and overall brilliance have stamped him as arguably the best in his position since the great Royce Hart of Richmond. The kid who made his senior debut in 1982 is one of that rare breed who can lift a team all by himself.
And Bernie Quinlan, hasn't he made a difference today?
Well, he has, Sandy. He's made a huge difference to that Hawthorn forward line, and especially him and Dunstall. They've both kicked 3 goals apiece. And with those 2 key forward players back in this Hawthorn side, they look so much better.
OK, let's have a check now on quarter-time scores in the other VFL matches being played today. Look at North Melbourne, 6-6-42, leading Collingwood by 30 points. St Kilda and Sydney having a ding-dong struggle. Sydney leading by 4 points. Geelong at home to Footscray. Geelong 5-6, Footscray 3-2, and nothing in the Carlton-Richmond game, with Carlton leading by just 4 points. Let's go down to the boundary line. Here's Dixie Marshall.
Well, Sandy, you didn't need to hear what the coaches were saying. You could see it. The hand signals told the story. John Northey was waving his around, pointing fingers, shaking fists. Well, as for Alan Joyce, his were being used just to pat a few backs.
Right, thank you, Dixie. Here we go, second quarter now at VFL Park. The big question is, can Melbourne get back into this game? It's not a 7-goal breeze, but it is probably 2 or 3. From the centre bounce, it's O'Dwyer who wins it. Morris's kick, however, is partly smothered back towards O'Dwyer, who went to soccer it off the ground. And once again, that raises the question of the kicking in danger rule, Bernie.
Well, they'll have to do something about that. There's no doubt about that. We saw Murphy from Sydney kicked in the head the other week, and they really should bring that rule back in.
John Platten was on the receiving end of that. O'Dwyer, Healy taps it over the top. Chance for Lyon. Was looking to get it back to Healy again, but a little too far. Back up support from Newport. Pushed as he got his kick. It's effective, however, down towards the half-forward line. Tuck out to Platten, weaving his way through at half-back. He centres it towards Morris. Chasing is O'Dwyer. Coming to meet him is Yates. Morris, too good, however. The handball over the top, taken by Yates. Melbourne desperate for a score. His kick towards centre-half forward. Platten has to go up and do the spoiling work. It's left with Wilson. Can go towards Sharon, and he takes the mark inside 50 and only on a pretty slight angle. So Dean Sharon looking to kick Melbourne's second goal. If they can get a couple early in this quarter, who knows? They could come back. But it's a big ask. Sharon floating a drop punt across the face of goal. Big Jim Steins pulls it down. 5 metres out, but tucked on the boundary line almost. There you can see just the view between the 2 goalposts that Steins has. Let's see what he can do. The big fella is a right footer. He snaps a goal. Pretty good looking kick. And it's the second one for the Demons.
And a badly needed goal there to the Demons. Big Jimmy Steins took the mark. And I thought that he may have gone back and done himself a disservice going back on the angle that he did. I saw Abbott also take an extra step when he was standing on the mark. But here's the kick from Sharon, deep into the forward line. And there's the mark to Big Jim Steins. A good mark on a very tight angle. Opens it up a little bit for himself and puts it through.
Well, that was an excellent goal and good thinking by Steins. Way he ran out and hooked it back in. There's O'Dwyer's getting plenty of the tap outs. A couple of quick goals here. He ducked the head then, Brian Wilson. He's playing for a free kick, which he does now and again. There's Schwab trying to crash his way through to Langford, to Brereton. Brereton should mark this. Oh, good courage as he ducked back. He's got the help of Chris Whitman now. Good play, Whitman. Up to Dunstall in front. He's got it. Now, let's see what he does. Back it comes to Collins. Now Dunstall again. Thrown off the ball. He didn't have it, umpire. Oh, they've let him go. Collins to Curran. Into the open goal. And a well-deserved goal. Well, a 3-pronged attack down there. Jason Dunstall with 3. Brereton 3 and Peter Curran 2. As we see Peter Schwab coming out of the centre of the game. Oh, here's some courage shown. That was bad luck to David Williams because he really did show some courage. Whitman, a long kick to half. Or Dunstall. Oh, caught one across the head. No, said the umpire. Well, gee, they're giving him some rough treatment. Here's Brian Wilson. A quick hand pass across. Found Alan Johnson towards the centre of the ground. Oh, Langford Too good, too quick. Onto the left foot he goes, and a long kick right down to Curran again. He couldn't take the mark. Johnson waits over the back and brings it towards centre wing. Brian Wilson has got it. Oh, nearly caught. Curran tried to pick him up. Oh, losing it was Healy. It didn't go hard enough for that one to Morrissey, to Buckenara. Oh, now I think the notebook maybe. No.
That was against Grinter, Peter, too.
Oh. Grinter did 6 weeks earlier in the year. Let's have a look at this.
Oh, very high, very high.
Well, we saw Andrew Buse go out for 2 weeks for that one like that against the Eagles a couple of weeks ago, as Buckenara is at the 50-metre line. He's all right, though. There's the short passes on Dunstall. Oh, that is brilliant forward play.
It was brilliant forward play, but very poor defence by Melbourne. They didn't fill up the gaps there, and they left a space there for Dunstall to lead into. There's the mark to Dunstall, a good pass from Buckenara, but as I said, very poor defence by Melbourne.
Well, he's kicked 3, and a very accurate kick, kicking into the breeze. But certainly the distance is no problem. There's the kick by Jason Dunstall. No doubt about it, that's his 4th.
So anything Melbourne can do, Hawthorn can answer, and answer with a lot more strength and desperation than Melbourne have got so far. They've been by far the more fierce side out on the ground. They've tackled better. There's the lead from Dunstall. A good strong chest mark. And look at that kicking style for goal from Jason Dunstall. He kicks his 4th, 3 in the first quarter, and that's his 1st in the second.
And 92nd for the season.
And he was clipped across the head just before that too. He could have received a free kick.
Centre bounce again. Well, Dwyer wins it but finishes up on his back. Morris picks it up for Hawthorn. Goes down towards the half-forward line. Morrissey could have been pushed as light rain starts to fall over VFL Park once again. Here's an opportunity for Williams. Hooks it high. It's going to be an advantage down the ground. He was pushed, and it will go back to Stephen Newport. Newport wastes no time. A high kick, certainly not going directly. Melbourne at the moment, and a fine mark taken by Curran. Well, we saw him show enormous courage last week against Sydney, taking a couple of beauties, and he's carrying that on today. Dippy Domenico in front of the pack, stood his ground, however. Stretch called out by Williams, loses it. Now Jackson has been very quiet. Back to Stretch. A high kick going down towards the 50-metre line. Coming to meet it is Steins. Doesn't get a favourable bounce, and the ball is taken over the line under pressure from Abbott. So a throw-in to take place. Melbourne in attack and desperately wanting goals. Throw in again. Steins uses the body, then clips it out the back. It finishes up with Lyon, who hooks it long. Now, what's the bounce going to do? It's a cruel one for Melbourne, going across the face of goal and registering one behind. 2 goals, 1 to 10-3. Melbourne are kicking with the breeze in this term, but even so, Hawthorn have still outscored them.
Gary Ayres, one of that reliable Hawthorn defence. A good mark to Scott McGuinness. And really, they are playing beautiful football. And this man, has he played well today? Russell Morris, who's been out of form this year, a long time in the reserves and back in. He'll stay in if he keeps playing like this. Brereton, I don't know whether he's 100% fit. A bit of an altercation behind the play there. He's not moving as well as he did early in the game, Bernie. It'll be interesting to keep our eyes on him. This is Lyon. He's halfway between centre wing as the light rain continues to fall, and half-forward flank it is. There's Steins into the back of his opponent, but coming across and taking the mark is Paul Abbott. Abbott from half-back flank. Brings it towards centre wing. Wilson in perfect position. Couldn't take the mark, and the loose ball comes to Peter Swab. This is danger for Melbourne. As Swab comes up the centre of the ground, a hand pass. As he looks further afield for Chris Whitman. Whitman to Dippy Domenico. Onto the left foot he goes. Dunstall out in front. He's got it. He hand passes back towards the goals. Grinto tries to kick it off the ground. In they go after it. A quick kick out of the pack will find O'Dwyer. Oh, well done by Deere as he taps it out to Curran. Curran onto the left foot. Now, Brereton and White. Brereton ducks back, and the ball bounces over the line and out of bounds.
Danny Hughes has been moved down to Melbourne's forward line, and Sean White is now playing on Jason Dunstall.
Throw in the right forward pocket for Hawthorn. O'Dwyer and Deere. Coming over the top was Morrissey. Couldn't take it. Waiting down Lovett across to Williams. Wider again to Spalding. Running out of half-back. He's got a loose player in Stretch. Uses him on the outer side of the ground. Stretch going short. Poor kick, however. And this Hawthorn defence, Langford it is, who comes steaming out towards the half-forward line. Bounces off the chest of Brereton. He recovers well on 50 metres. Can he get away from Grinter? He's got to backpedal and lose a little bit of ground, but he can do it. Langford, an uncharacteristic mistake. Looking for Deere. They've still got so much support. It's Whitman who picks it up. Kicks down towards half-forward, but Sean White nips in to take the mark.
White, I think that's a good move, that by John Northey, because he's got the pace to go with Dunstall, whereas Danny Hughes certainly didn't. Towards half forward is the ball. Brereton really not moving all that well now. There's a quick kick by Whitman towards the goals, or was it Collins? In fact, the two lookalikes.
Yeah, it's Andrew Collins.
It was Andrew Collins. In fact, they number 10 and number 40, they really do look alike, those two players. Tony Campbell bringing it in from full back. At the back is Greg Deere, goes for the punch. They're a very disciplined side, Hawthorn. Dipier Domenico, the long driving kick towards the pocket. Nearly a mark to Campbell, but it just comes off his hands and over the line beside that point post.
Melbourne fans still a little bewildered. Hawthorn fans quite happy with proceedings at the moment. Deere over the top, trying to get it out the back. Jackson soccers off the ground towards Sharon, under plenty of pressure. Curran. Loose players again everywhere, and Schwab, who's inside 50 metres, has marked and will have a shot at goal.
Yes, they're really a bit shell-shocked, I think, at the moment, Melbourne. Everything they're doing at the moment, the hand passes, they're kicking, they're doing it under pressure, and they look as if they're about to be tackled.
Peter Schwab with a long drop punt. The breeze doesn't seem to be affecting that at all, because he has posted it.
11-4 to 2-1, and as Bernie said, they are playing top football, Hawthorn. That was Lovett with a quick hand pass. Out it comes now to David Williams. He goes towards half-forward. Now the bounce favours Jackson. Jackson tries to centre it to Steins. Hughes is there also. He ended up running into him and losing it. Schwab gets it to Gowers. Russell Morris is there. Oh, gee, some players went in very, very hard there. The umpires found a free kick. It'll go Melbourne's way. It'll be Stephen Newport on centre wing.
Newport to send the Demons forward. Steins gives him a lead. It's ignored, however. He drifts it up towards the 50-metre line. Ball fisted clear, but straight down to Dipier Domenico. Good defensive work by Hawthorn. Dipier Domenico's kick towards centre wing, and a fine mark taken by Morrissey. Goes inside to Tuck. Michael Tuck. Tremendous experience behind him. Floats a drop punt up towards the half-forward line. Collins was the flyer. Buckenara waiting down. They go straight over the top of him, but he dodges and weaves and twists. Tried to get the handball back towards the running Whitman, but Lovett is there to halt that. No one able to pick it up cleanly. You can see the pressure that Melbourne is under as Sean White falls as he tries to get it clear. This lets Hawthorn in again. Whitman, the diving White towards the boundary line in enormous desperation. And another throw-in to take place.
They're now making pressure for themselves, I think, Melbourne, because a couple of times they could have picked that up and gone clear with a long kick, but as I said, they really look as if they're expecting to be tackled.
Well, they're 57 points down, and we've still got 14 minutes left in the second quarter. That will give you some idea of the strife that the Demons are in. But there's always time to get out. Platten to McGuinness. Long. Down towards the half-forward line once again. O'Dwyer shepherded out of it. At the bottom is Collins. Whitman it was. Hooks it over his body. Brereton use of the body. Illegal, said umpire Cameron.
Yeah, it's a good decision too by umpire Cameron. Dermott doesn't agree with it, but he definitely pushed Rod Grinter in the back.
Grinter's kick. Torpedo punt. Over the head of Lovett. Who's first to recover.
Oh,
Dipier Domenico hit him.
This could be the book.
And
I'd say so.
the umpire is coming over to him. Dipier Domenico is not moving. He has been reported. Umpire Cameron explaining to Dipier Domenico why he's been reported.
Is that any worse than Grinter's earlier?
Well,
I mean, it's a similar thing, isn't it?
it was. Have a look at the replay. You can see Dipier Domenico in the corner of the picture there. He had his arm raised. Lovett was doing the tackling, and the arm was definitely raised. So it was worthy of a report.
Williams sending Melbourne into attack down towards their half-forward line, but that's as far as it gets because Andrew Gowers takes a fine mark. Back towards the centre again. Or Spalding flew high, couldn't take it. Di Domenico in over the top of Newport, and Di Domenico gets the football out only as far as Healy. Now support through Morrissey, but he threw it. Not an effective handball. And so the free kick goes back to Captain Healy.
Healy towards half forward. Morris in front. He's had a good game. Well, there's the pace of Williams to get away from Ayres, but Ayres gets back. Now, was that too high? It was, said the umpire. So Williams, a short kick. That's good play. Finds Lovett. Chance now for Melbourne is Sharon. Oh, he wasn't sure what to do with it, but now he finds Healy. Healy with the long driving kick. Hit the post, said the goal umpire, so things not going the Demons' way.
No, they're really struggling to get that ball past the half-forward line. So they've only kicked 2 goals too, and we're halfway through the second quarter.
Well, there's Gary Ayres on screen. Look at the build. Oh. You can see why Rovers in man-to-man contests find it very difficult against Ayres. Here's Gowers, becoming a very good defensive player, Gowers. Spalding in front, or over the back. It's all Hawthorn. Curran to Morris, having an excellent game. Russell Morris, good to see. Morris from 50 metres, kicks long. Sean White, over the back is Dunstall. He's got a loose man. If he can hook it back, he does. But the Melbourne players are able to come and check, and it's Newport taking the mark.
Oh, dangerous hand pass, but they may get out of it. Cleverly to stretch, on to Johnson. Melbourne clear. Over the centre, over the head of Lovett. Platten is waiting at the back, traps it beautifully. That's the Platten of old. On to Buckenara. In towards half-forward. Grinter is there and takes a fine mark. So Rod Grinter, again, halting another Hawthorn attack. So he gets it across to Johnson, who goes to Lovett. Lovett at centre wing. On to Steins. To half forward. Waiting down is the big fella Abbott. Traps it well. Back towards McGuinness. He can't pick it up. Probably a little slippery now after that light rain that's been falling, but he does well to get it to Platten. Platten is clear. He gets decked, and he didn't appreciate that behind the play. He did not appreciate it one bit. The football is going on, much to the delight of Buckenara. To half forward, Grinter over the top, can't take the mark. Johnson waits down, Grinter fists it clear. Whitman trying to do the shepherding work. The ball comes clear to Steins. With him is Curran, however. Oh, they pounce upon it. There's still plenty of desperation. Morrissey can't take it cleanly. Must be very slippery now as the mark is taken on the half-back line by David Williams. A few sore and sorry players out there at the moment. Gowers in from the side. At the back, Morris having a fine game today. His kick is a poor one. Drops short to Lovett, and he sends Melbourne forward.
Peter Schwab leads out in front of his opponent. Beautifully trapped by Schwab. As he brings it long, he's looking for Langford. Langford couldn't take the mark, but he's got too much pace as he breaks away and brings it up to Morrissey. They've got the Brereton to do the shepherding as Morrissey picks it up, hooks it back towards full forward. Dunstall, yes! He's marked 25 metres out, directly in front. Too good, too strong.
Yes, he's all class, Jason Dunstall. Good strong shepherd there from Dermot Brereton coming into the forward line. Here it is again. And Campbell really went high. Had a charge at Dermot, but there's a class of Jason Dunstall. Great judgment to take the chest mark.
Dunstall's kick 4, and from directly in front has popped through his 5th.
Yes. 14 plays 76. Steins up against Abbott. Pushed down towards Grinter. Solidly met. Di Domenico stands his ground, then pushes it wide. The kick is by Lovett. First hurt will be Platten. Chasing is Sharon. Platten gets his kick and gains 30 metres. Hall could have been leg. Gets his first touch since coming onto the ground to Buckenara. Over the head of Brereton, who recovers the quicker. Gets it wide. Johnson couldn't take it. It was meant for Whitman. It's still with that player now. To Curran. Back towards Di Domenico. Oh, there's so many of them there. Hall's just come on the ground and he's going to kick a goal.
this is just a magnificent display from Hawthorn. It's really premiership football that they've produced in this first part of this game. 20 minutes into the second quarter, and they've completely dominated Melbourne. There's the replay with a tap on from Curran. There's so many Hawthorn players in support of each other. Domenico with a handball to Hall, who's just came onto the ground, and Hall snaps truly with the left foot. So a perfect display of football here from Hawthorn.
Not a bad player to bring on. Steve O'Dwyer off the ground for Melbourne. There he is. And as Bernie said, this is champagne football as the hand pass comes long, but they're too strong down there everywhere. Ayres and Langford. Morris has played a great game. Here's Platten. Brereton and Curran. Oh, another great mark to Curran. A hand pass was meant for Domenico. He loses it. In with Steins. Curran again, is he in form? And after ankle injuries and being out of the side for a great period of the year, back into that side with a vengeance. It's starting to take his marks, Peter Curran. Abbott. Hughes is now in defence. They're really shuffling their players round. Off the ground was Tuck. Now Tony Hall, the fresh man on the ground, has got it. Gets in a quick hand pass, but he was under enormous pressure. Newport was there. Now it's a chance for Tuck to dive on top of Stephen Stretches. The good Melbourne players that have played well all year, hardly been sided. Lyon and Stretch, Bernie.
Well, it's the pressure being applied by Hawthorn that's kept these players out of the game. Wilson, another one. Haven't seen him all afternoon.
Well, there's Abbott doing the ruck work against Steins. Brereton dives on top of the ball, hooks it out. Good play to Collins. Collins is loose now, and he's going for Dunstall. Up he goes. Oh, was it in the back? Yes, and too high, in fact, against Sean White on Dunstall. And Dunstall will take this kick from approximately 35 metres. He's already kicked 5, but he's on a very acute angle.
And excellent lead again from Jason Dunstall. He's put himself in a fairly difficult angle. But Sean White did his best to spoil him, and the umpire saw it to be a free kick.
Well, this will be Dunstall's 6th. If he can kick it, let's have a good look at it. It's floating across. Oh, bad luck. It's hit the post.
Hawthorn 13-5, 83. Melbourne at 2 goals, 2-14. They've kicked only 1 goal, 2 with the aid of the breeze in this second quarter. Lovett off the ground towards centre wing. Lyon taken out of it by Langford, who recovers well. Kicks in towards half forward, and Abbott takes the mark. He's got Morris loose if he wants him. He wants him. And he marks on the 50-metre line. So Russell Morris back in form with a vengeance today. And look at that kick. Just off target, 1 behind.
13 kicks and 4 handballs, and it's not even half time.
As I said, back in form with a vengeance. Now Danny Hughes from full-back. Straight down the middle as the rain starts to get a little heavier. Oh, the flyer was Buckenara. He couldn't take it. Lovell on the ground. Couldn't. Love it. This time, a sweeping hand pass. Collins rides the bump and spins out of trouble. Back to Platten, who dodges clear from 50. Shoots with a long drop punt in towards full forward. No mark taken. Oh, free kick to Curran. No free kick. Oh. And now Hawthorn has lost the football. What an extraordinary decision, plus 50 metres.
Well, that's unbelievable, because a free kick should have been paid to Peter Curran.
On the wrong side of the pack, I think, the umpire then, Bernie.
Well, he may have been. That could be the only explanation.
Let's have a look at it again.
Now Curran. Whoa. Danny Hughes all over the top of him.
Well, the ball's at centre wing now. Lovell lost it. Clever tap out to Domenico. Platten starting to pick up touches. This will do his confidence the world of good. He floats a punt in towards full forward. No mark taken by Brereton. Johnson overruns it. It's socket back, and a chance for Lovett again to clear for Melbourne. He goes with a high drop punt up towards centre wing, and he's as solid as a rock, Gary Ayres. It's no wonder he's known as Conan the Barbarian down at the Hawthorn Football Club, Peter.
That's right. And a great player he is. Great finals player. There's Platten getting it to Tony Hall. Hall towards half forward. Collins is working hard, but he's beaten this time by Johnson. But Langford's like a rock of Gibraltar down there, and McGuinness is giving him good backup support. Scott McGuinness, look at the backing up. Beautiful play. Oh, bad hand pass, though, that. That was by Langford. I think it slipped out of his hands. Now it's Ricky Jackson, who's hardly been sighted, but he's got the loose one here. He's looking for Lyon, and Lyon will mark at the 50-metre line. Now, he's got Spalding loose if he can get it to him quickly. Just a little bit slow. Now he kicks into the man on the mark, so it wasn't good play that by the Demons, but it's not their day at the moment as Langford dives on top of it and the umpire will bounce it. It's about 40 metres out from the Melbourne goal, and I think that might be an unhappy Demon supporter there. 2-2 to 13-6, 11 goals for the difference in a terrific display of football this by the Hawks. Williams ducks the head. Gowers to Abbott. Platten really coming into the game. To Ayres. They've got loose men everywhere. Morris having a sensational day. He's kicking long. He's looking for Di Domenico, who's already been reported, and he found him. Now, if he can get it to Curran, he's trying to do. He kicks it high round the corner. Curran just took his eye off the ball then as Hughes came towards him. Not for any other reason than he wanted to get himself in a good position. And it's a free kick to Hawthorn for a trip going to Tony Hall on half-forward flank.
Coming off the interchange bench this quarter, Hall. His first kick when he came on resulted in a goal. Brereton. Oh, just pushed to the ground. Hall again overruns it. With him as Newport. Buckenara could have ducked his head, but the umpire said either way.
He's very clever, though, the way he does that.
The tackle was too high, and he's got what he was after, a free kick. Towards half-forward, over the head of Brereton. A chance for Alan Johnson to clear for Melbourne. It's a long kick. Out of half-back. Langford from behind. Look at that defensive spoil. Platten waiting down in front for the ball to come down, but it's Sharon who will clear. His hand pass, a little proppy. He's got to try and follow up his own work. Gets it across to Stretch, who's under tremendous pressure. His kick goes wide. It's taken by Ayres, who sends a 20-metre hand pass to Platten. Shepherding will see him clear. And between centre and half-forward, he goes long towards Dunstall and Curran. Curran!
Oh, is he in form, Bernie?
Oh, courage there too from Peter Curran. He puts his body in, keeps his eyes on the ball. Look at this again, backing into the pack. And he's done it well, Peter Curran. A tremendously courageous mark in Sydney last week, running with the flight of the ball. And he's continued on with the good form here today.
One goal in the first quarter, one so far in the second. Is this going to be number 3? The drop punt is on its way. He has made no mistake.
Tackle there also by Michael Tuck in the centre of the ground, allowed that loose ball to come to Ayres. Brian Wilson's hardly been sighted. Nor is Stein, so they've got a lot of players down. Here's Scott McGuinness looking for Tuck. It's kicked off the ground by Stretch. He's been quiet too. On the ground for Melbourne, you saw him there, as Anthony Lovell. Smothered off the boot there of Morris. Towards half-forward, Lyon fisted away. They badly want goals, Melbourne. There's Ayres being grabbed when he didn't have the ball. So they're making a lot of mistakes, Melbourne. It's all due to the great play of the Hawks. There's the kick out to McGuinness. Oh, Domenico is loose if McGuinness can get it to him. He does. He's on centre wing now. There's already been reported as the rain is tumbling down here at VFL Park. A long kick by Di Domenico, a wobbly one towards half-foot. Hall cleverly tapped it out. Now it's a chance for Whitman. They've got loose men everywhere. Swab. Back it comes to Deere. Deere will probably set it up. Where's Dunstall? There he is. He's in the pocket. Oh, good play. Good play. White reckons he was pushed out. I don't know about that. I think that was bad judgment by Sean White. Great play by Deere and Dunstall.
Yes, I'm sure that's right, Peter. Dunstall just held his position well. Sean White probably thought he was doing the right thing, attacking the ball. But Dunstall in the better position.
Well, he's kicked 5, going for goal number 6, and he's threaded it through.
So a sensational performance here from Jason Dunstall. 3 goals in the first quarter, and now 3 goals in the second quarter. 6 goals before half-time on a day when it is not easy for forwards to kick goals.
And only another 6 required in the second half, Bernie, to crack the ton.
Well, the way Hawthorn are playing, there's a kick. He kicks so well for goal. The way Hawthorn are playing, they're giving him a lot of opportunities up forward. And, of course, with his brilliant leading, he could be even a big chance to kick that 100.
He's not going to get the chance to kick another one before half-time. There's only seconds remaining that Hawthorn will go into attack down towards their half-forward line. But there it is. Hawthorn have had a sensational first half, 15-6, 96. leading Melbourne 2-2, 14. And the Hawks running from the ground to the cheers of their supporters. It has been an outstanding performance. Melbourne, I think, still a little shell-shocked, Peter.
I think it was an absolutely brilliant display of football that by Hawthorn in wet conditions and slippery conditions. There's Dunstall, who's kicked 6. He is a champion full forward. Curran has been brilliant, Bernie, and really they haven't had a weak link.
No, it's very hard to find a good player in the Melbourne side, but Hawthorn playing champagne football here in this first half. Dermott looks a little bit proppy as he runs off, but I think he set this victory up for them if they do win, and they should win this game. Because with his fierceness at that opening bounce and in that first quarter, he really had a few of those Melbourne defenders having a look around.
It's half-time. Hawthorn a commanding lead. 15-6, 96 to Melbourne, 2-2, 14. Individual players in this game so far, and the one that everyone is focusing on is Jason Dunstall, because the bottom 2 lines tell the story. He has kicked 6 goals, 2 for the day. He needs another 6 in the second half to become the first player this season to score 100 goals and join a very elite band of gentlemen. Brett Lovett for Melbourne. Well, he's tried hard with 14 possessions, 4 kicks and 10 hand passes. He's probably been the best of the Demons. Dermott Brereton back today. His intentions were made quite clear in the opening 30 seconds of the game, Bernie, weren't they?
Yes, he really charged at that ball and set it up for Hawthorn, I thought, in that first quarter.
And he has booted 3 goals to date. Gary Lyon has tried hard for 10 possessions, 7 and 3, but has found the going very tough today. Russell Morris, a sensational return to form by Russell. 15 kicks and 6 marks with 4 handballs. He's had a big day. And Alan Johnson for Melbourne trying hard with 11 kicks. So let's now go into the second half and see if Melbourne, Pete, can come back.
Well, a big task. 2-2 to 15-6. So, well, I wouldn't back them with someone else's money, I wouldn't think, but they will certainly improve. I'm sure of that. As Morris gets that ball down to half forward, kicked away by Grinter. Greg Healy's had a terrible day. As Ayres, he's had an excellent day as well. There hasn't been one weak link in that Hawthorn side. There's Tony Campbell trying to keep the ball in play as the sun shines over VFL Park, Waverley, and that will certainly please the players. After the second quarter, most of that was played in drizzly rain. O'Dwyer against Deer. The Melbourne ruckmen have got most of the hit-outs, but Hawthorn have been sharking them. There's Deer, cleverly taps it on. This is Whitman, centres the ball. Sean White takes a diving mark in that last line of defence.
No let-up for the Melbourne defence. He goes short, looking for Lovett. Almost trodden as he tries to scoop it out. Stretch has it socket out of his hands. Danger here. Campbell heads towards goal and gives away a behind. So Hawthorn continue on from where they left off, and great concern in the Melbourne camp. 15-7 to 2 goals 2. O'Dwyer in front of Deer takes the mark. O'Dwyer looking for Yates, finding him. Needs a player going past. Well, Jackson's been desperately quiet today, but he hasn't been on his own in that department as far as Melbourne is concerned. Johnson has tried hard. To Wilson. They need more from so many of these players. Jackson again. Steins short. Healy. Inside 50, although kicked from just about on the 50-metre line. Goes long in towards the pocket. There's a couple of loose players there. Steins is one of them. And the big fella will take the kick. He's in the pocket, but only 15 metres out.
That's probably Melbourne's best passage of play for the entire game. They brought it from defence into attack without a Hawthorn player touching it.
Steins kicked Melbourne's only goal in the first quarter. In fact, their only score. Let's see what he can do this time. The goal umpire goes to ground. He's put it through for 1 behind.
Well, they need goals, and they need them badly. 2-3 to 15-7. And Steins obviously thought that he kicked that goal, but the goal umpire in perfect position is coming straight down the centre of the ground. Greg Deer, no, it's not. It's Abbott taking the mark at half-back to Buckenara. Buckenara long towards half forward. Brereton in front. I don't think he's 100% fit. He hurt himself in that first quarter. There's Stretch losing it to Whitman. Whitman to Dunstall. Yes! Oh, beautiful ball skills. Great lead, great pass. And maybe that 100 goals is on Bernie.
Yes, although he's passed the ball, so he's given it away. Very unselfish, but he passed it to a player in worse position.
Well, that's not good play by Dunstall. When you mark there, it's all right to be unselfish, but when you mark that close to goal, you have a shot.
Now, you two full forwards have been in the same position going for 100 goals. Would you have passed?
No.
No doubt. We would have had a shot.
Well, there's Newport. But I think for the betterment of the side, it's all right to be unselfish, but for the betterment of the side, you have a shot from that far out.
Well, definitely, Peter. He was only 15 to 20 metres out and only on a very slight angle, and really there's no advantage in passing.
Well, here's Greg Deere to do the ruck work against Steve O'Dwyer. O'Dwyer gets front position. He's got most of the tap-outs today, but Tony Hall actually grabbed that one out of the ruck to Andrew Collins. Here they come again, the Hawks, to Buckenara. Buckenara, centre of the ground, tried to tap it on, but Johnson was there to intercept and kick it wide. But there's only one man there, and it's Chris Langford. Langford's got a loose man. I think it's Deere coming to half forward. It is. Can he mark it? No. He drops the sitter. The loose ball is with Schwab. Peter Schwab, a real workhorse. Dipier Domenico into the back of Newport. He's not happy about it.
Of course, Dipier Domenico, the Brownlow medalist, reported earlier in the game, so he'll face the VFL tribunal as Jackson soccers off the ground, gains probably 25-30 metres, pushing the ball into attack. And a throw-in will take place on the outer side, as Peter said. Bright sun shining now over VFL Park.
Melbourne have David Williams playing at full forward and being picked up by Gowers.
Abbott almost smothered. Jackson receives, going in towards the half-forward line. Healy from behind, can't take the mark, pushed towards the boundary line, and look at that Hawk defence, surging it over the line. So a throw-in to take place in front of the scoreboard that reads like an embarrassment to Demon supporters. Lovell couldn't take it. Healy's kick smothered. Lovell another chance. Healy another chance. Wobbling it down towards Williams. He needs support. Look at the tackling of Hawthorn. Gowers, a short kick, gathers little distance towards Abbott. The big fella does well to get it to Platten, who certainly came back into form in the second quarter. His kick is wide and goes over the line towards the half-back flank.
In fact, that's Johnny Platten's 13th kick. So right back in form. He's had two very ordinary weeks, which is unusual for Platten. That was Steins getting it down to Healy, who's had a very, very quiet day. Williams from the back going for the mark. Now it's Buckenara coming back towards the goals and kicks wide looking for Michael Tuck, his captain. Oh, nearly took the mark, Tuck. Oh, brilliant play by Tuck as he gets in the hand pass. The loose man's there. This is Chris Langford, has a bounce, sprints down the centre of the ground and kicks long. Dunstall and Sean White. Dunstall, brilliant mark. Oh, come off it.
Well, very similar one to that in the second quarter, and the umpire allowed the mark to Dunstall, and that was exactly the same.
Oh, I thought that was strength there by Dunstall.
The clearing kick coming back towards the half-back line. Johnson goes to ground. The ball is kept in play by Hughes, but he just wobbles it towards Deere. Collins does the shepherding work to try and allow Curran to come through. He's forced to scoop it wider towards Schwab. The whistle had sounded, and it will be a free ball to Hawthorn, and it'll be taken by Peter Curran, who was pushed illegally.
He's had a bad day down to Hughes. They've moved him around everywhere. They can't find a spot for him.
Curran to the half-forward line. Brereton in front of Grinter. 1-2 grabs. Can't complete the mark. Sharon to ground. Now Stretch. Some of their dominating players in recent weeks have been desperately quiet. Fine mark by Langford.
They've got Lyon at full forward now, so gee, they're swinging the changes. Melbourne.
Poor kick by Langford. Past McGuinness it goes. He does have support, however, in the form of Buckenara. Tries to get the handball out. Love it. Held. It's like the juggling football. It goes up towards the half-forward line, but no one at home for Melbourne. And Russell Morris is there once again to get yet another kick.
Well, close to best man on the ground, Morris. Over the back was Dipier Domenico. That was clever. To Hall, back to Dipier Domenico. A little chip pass was the bad one. And it comes into the hands of Stretch. Stretch wide. He's looking out there for Lovell. Lovell drops the mark. Hawthorn just too good. Tuck. Oh, has a bounce, Michael Tuck. There's still plenty of run in the old legs. as he brings it to half forward. The mark has been taken there by Brett Lovett, who's had an outstanding season.
Yes, rewarded with state selection and performed extremely well. Lovett's kick goes up over centre wing. Williams now towards half forward. Morris again leaves it for Ayres, who soccers it off the ground. Look at the Hawks. They are everywhere. Platten from Abbott. His spearing pass going in towards half forward. Bounces off the chest of Grinter, who might still be able to bottle it up. No, he's got support through Sharon at the back. The kick is high. O'Dwyer in from the side, but a fine mark taken by Steins. No one on the mark, so he gets clear and hooks it back towards Healy, who's right in the middle of the ground. Now, what's he got to kick to down in the forward line? Lyon comes steaming out and takes it on the chest. And only a ripple of applause as he gets it back to Healy, who can shoot in towards goal, and a much-needed goal goes on the board for Melbourne.
Yeah, it's a badly needed goal, but
Those who have braved the wintry conditions out here, they can score a few more and make a match of this, because at the moment are a mile behind. Platten's really come back to form. A left foot kick towards half forward, stretch in front. Wilson has been very, very quiet. Grinter, a quick hand pass, finds Hughes. His kick out towards centre wing, and a good mark is taken under pressure there by Newport. Now, some of the Melbourne supporters thinking it should have been 50. The umpire dead right there. Peter Cameron had a good view of that as Newport brings it to half forward, punched away by Ayres, straight to Jackson. A bad hand pass wide of the mark. Platten cleverly looking for Buckenara. Now it's Di Domenico to Langford. Oh, beautifully done by Langford. Down the centre of the ground comes Langford and kicks long. Dunstall at the back. Now he gets in front, and that was a brilliant mark. He was ducking back and then chipped across in front.
strength. That was a very strong mark to Jason Dunstall. I think Sean White even had a little tug on his Guernsey there. Yes, he did. And a great mark to Jason Dunstall.
Well, he's kicked 6, and he has to kick another 6 for the 100 for the season. Jason Dunstall from 30 metres. Just missed. So that's unlike Dunstall. He doesn't miss too many.
6-3 for the afternoon. So the chances have been there for him. And Danny Hughes does not know what to do. Finally elects to go just about straight down the middle, and a fine mark taken by Sean White, who plays on. Goes to ground as he went to take the kick. Hall's hand pass intercepted by Campbell. Melbourne out of strife for the moment. Wide towards centre wing. Stretch and support from Williams. Jackson can't take it. Hall coming off the interchange bench. Does well as he gives it to Platten. Out of the sunshine into the shadows. Beautifully snared by Curran. Has he got someone going past? Usually they do. This time it's McGuinness. Threads his way through. Tries to go short. He was looking for Whitman, but they're going to be bustled out of it. This is Lovett. Johnson. Tuck late on the scene. Johnson the first to recover. Now Lovell. Across centre wing. Not sure what to do. He goes short. He was looking for Healy, and Ayres has been a stumbling block all day.
But Hawthorn really had them covered everywhere. That was brilliant defence by the Hawks. They ran with their men and had them all covered. Buckenara, who's looking down there for Platten, but he's outmarked by Tony Campbell. Campbell a hand pass to Steins. Steins to Lovett. Lovett to Lyon. Lyon, centre of the ground, but they're crisscrossing and they're not sure. They haven't really got a focal point. Now O'Dwyer will come from behind, and they're just too good in defence, Hawthorn. Easy mark to Ayres.
Yeah, you called it again, Peter. He came from behind, and those forwards have to get in front.
Well, Langford to Schwab. Schwab runs at the ball. Now, Wilson was trying to appeal for a free kick here. Here's Greg Healy again. He's bringing it back to O'Dwyer. Good play by Deere. Terrific play to keep with him. And the loose ball is all Hawthorn's because they've got 3 players there. Buckenara to Morris. They're that confident. They're coming across the face of goal, and Morris brings it out of defence looking for Michael Tuck.
Has it stolen by Johnson. 60 metres out. Now 50. He lets fly with a drop punt. A good-looking kick going in towards goal, but again, no one home. And Gary Ayres is having an absolute field day on that last line of defence. Gets it across to Abbott, who looks for Di Domenico. Fist it down. Player waiting down in front is Schwab. Hooks it over his shoulder, wide to Platten. Hasn't got a lot to kick to as he has a look up forward, so decides to go wide, just hugging the boundary line, and will finish up probably making 30 or 40 metres if Grinter cannot keep it in play. Brereton does well. Whitman scooping it out. Now Tony Hall under all sorts of pressure. Had 3 on him on that occasion. Platten almost threw it to Brereton. Starting to muck around with it, but they're doing it with such ease it doesn't matter. Back to Hall again. Down towards full forward. Sean White, one grab. He's going to be claimed. Loses the football. Pushed wide. And eventually taken over the line. So a throw-in to take place. But Hawthorn just surging that ball down from one end of the ground to the other in lightning fashion. And John Northey, what can he do, Pete?
Well, they actually haven't kicked a goal in this quarter, the Hawks, but they're still doing particularly well in field play. Melbourne have lifted their rate a bit as we see Sharon coming away. Some good shepherding down there by Lovett. This is Lovell. He brings it to half forward. They've got them covered again, the Hawks. Gowers was there. Now it's Langford. Gee, he's had a great game also. Tuck. Michael Tuck couldn't take the mark. Alan Johnson. A quick kick. It's still on that centre wing area. Oh, good play by Abbott to Schwab. Schwab's hand pass wide will come to Lovett. Lovett sidesteps. He's a former captain of the Hawthorn under-19s, Brett Lovett. This is Stretch from centre wing. He's looking up there for O'Dwyer. He should mark this one. He does. The big ruckman out at the 50-metre line. Now, who's there? There's no one back there for Melbourne. They're all covered everywhere. The Hawthorn, too good. They had every man covered. As we see Gowers towards Hall. Hall can't mark it, but crashes his way through. Hand pass was meant for Buckenara, and this is centre of the ground. Number 16 you see on the ground is Anthony Lovell for Melbourne.
And the free kick will go to Buckenara, though the advantage is being paid. Taken by Dipier Domenico across to Platten. Dunstall's drifting into the pocket. Is he going to get there? No. White comes out in front of him and fists it clear. He's gone over the boundary line. And a throw-in will take place down in Hawthorn's attacking zone once again. There is the Hawks coaching box with Alan Joyce. We've only seen 1 goal scored for the quarter so far as Healy gets it across to Newport. Abbott underneath this one, and he takes the mark. Hawthorn superior in just about every position on the ground. Across to McGuinness, now Morris. Back to McGuinness. Gets pulled as he gets his kick, but still gets it down towards the half-forward line. Going past again was Hall. Could have given away the football on this occasion. He has, and it will be a chance for Johnson. To Lyon. Has a look up forward. He hasn't got a lot. He's bouncing himself into a nasty wide position. Then he's got to try and hook it back, and there was no one offering him anything. So it lands with Abbott, who gives it to Schwab, and then into Morris in the middle. Russell Morris, a great return to form today, and he floats a high one down towards the half-forward line of the Flyers. No one able to pick it up. Grinter there. Collins also. Grinter pushes it wide. Goes in towards the centre, but look at that. There's Ayres, Dipier Domenico, there's Morris, there's Buckenara, and a little chip. It's one of the few mistakes made by Hawthorn today, but Stretch's kick, because he had absolutely nowhere to go, has landed with Dipier Domenico. He's got Curran drifting into the pocket. Can't take it. At the back is Lovell. Hughes now gets the hand pass clear. Hall storms through. Back to Dipier Domenico. It's a one-horse race. Dunstall uses the body again. It goes over the top. Who's going to soccer it through? It's a goal.
The 3-3, and they have been a little bit flash Hawthorn, but they have got the game well under control. There's Wilson, a quick hand pass to Lovett. Oh, the Hawks. It was beautifully done. To Tuck, to Brereton, and Brereton marks about 35 metres out from goal, 45-degree angle, and the champion centre-half forward has already kicked 3.
And great delivery by Michael Tuck.
And unselfishly, Brereton has played on to a man in a better position, and this is Buckenara, and the Melbourne people will remember Gary Buckenara from last year. That kick after the siren, getting the Hawks into the grand final against Carlton. In fact, it was on this very ground, up the other end of the ground. Gary Buckenara playing in the centre. There's his kick. He is a very accurate kick, and that's no exception.
That's Gary Buckenara's first goal, but as you called, Peter, very unselfish from Dermot Brereton. Would have been shooting from about 35 to 40 metres out. Saw Buckenara in the better position and had no hesitation in getting the ball across to him. Here's the kick from Gary Buckenara. And as you said, that kick in that last year's preliminary final that got Hawthorn through to the grand final. The Melbourne supporters will remember Buckenara for a long time.
Well, there can't be any argument about this game today because they've been thoroughly outclassed. 17-8 to 3-3. There's O'Dwyer getting it down. Schwab crashes his way through. Now it's Brett Lovett. Clever hand pass over the top to Graham Yates. Yates, a quick kick towards the half-forward line. This is where they've been falling down. Hawthorn have just dominated that backline area. Here's Peter Schwab. Played a very good game again. Too tall, Steve O'Dwyer on centre wing.
The big fella goes back, then kicks Melbourne in towards half-forward. Lovell waiting down, short to David Williams. Still outside 50. Steins is waiting back in the square. Williams torpedo punt, heads in that direction. Waiting down Healy. Onto the left foot, he snaps at goal. Good-looking snap too. But just off target, one behind.
I think credit Bernie must go to Schwab because he's really put Wilson out of business.
Yes, Wilson's rarely been cited, and it's unusual for Wilson. He usually plays well in these big games.
Ayres bringing the ball back into play for Hawthorn. McGuinness in front of Lovell, unable to take the mark. Gowes pounces upon it. Langford almost has his jumper ripped off by Lyon, and the umpire decides that he shall have the football. So a little under 7 minutes of this third quarter remaining. Wide to Johnson, chasing his tuck, waiting his Platten, and like a true rover, it comes his way and he just drifts it short to half-back and Gary Buckenara. Platten has continued to run. Di Domenico is saying go, but he's got to be quick. Gets pushed as he gets his kick. He's up again to chase. Love it. Towards Healy. After him is McGuinness. Healy will be too quick. He's got Steins across that half-forward line. The big fella's loose and he just chips it short in towards half-forward where Lovell takes the mark. 45 metres out, almost directly in front. A chance to score Melbourne's second goal for the quarter. Hawthorn have added only 2 this term. Lovell, a good-looking drop punt, has made no mistake.
Saw a shot of Morrissey and, of course, Richard Loveridge on screen there. They haven't had to use Loveridge yet. He's a pretty handy interchange player. Platten doing so well, they haven't needed Loveridge. Quick kick out of the centre, comes down towards half-forward, but they've dominated in defence. This is Abbott. Hawthorn, that is, of course. And I think, Bertie, that really against good sides, Melbourne's lack of good key forward shows out.
It's probably told the story today. It was a very good move, Langford, to centre-half back. He's really put Lyon out of business, and apart from him, they've had no one up on the forward line who looks capable of kicking a goal.
Well, the resting ruckman at full forward doesn't work for Melbourne, I don't think. There's McGuinness getting out Platten's right back in tip-top form today. John Platten, quick kick towards half-forward, ducking back to take the mark, though. Hughes has had a very quiet day. He'd be happy not to be on Dunstall, I would think. He goes wide to Yates. And Yates runs towards the centre wing area. Now, Williams is further afield, but he's pretty well covered. Oh, something's happened behind the play, I think. There's a Dippy Domenico down.
Yes, having a good old tussle with Sean White.
And the Melbourne crowd were wrapped. There it is. Did he cop one? Oh, nothing much in
I don't think there was much in it.
Well, he might be looking for a job in the acting profession, I think.
There's the throw-in. Abbott. Dippy Domenico. Nothing wrong with him. He's up and at him again. This is Yates. To the half-forward line. Ayres has been as solid as a rock, and he continues in that fashion. Dippy Domenico. Over the centre he goes. Drifting it towards Deer. He swings it long. Dunstall can't get front spot. Socket off the ground. Curran trying to get in between, but he can't to get front position. The ball is pushed over the line by Hughes, and so another throw-in will take place, this time in Hawthorn's left forward pocket. And they lead 28 to 110, with the damage being done really in the first 10 minutes of the first quarter. That's when the Hawks made it patently clear what they were setting out to do for the day. Campbell held, White sockers off the ground. Straight to Dippy Domenico. In towards goal. Well, I guess that tells the story of the day, doesn't it, for Melbourne?
How would that have been? Had it bounced through his legs and through for a goal? I think he would have walked off Greg Healy, Bernie.
Yeah, nothing's gone right for them, has it, Peter? It's been a really bad afternoon for Melbourne. But they've met a fiercely determined Hawthorn side. They've bounced back after last week. And they've shown that they really are the, I'd say, the favourites for the premiership at this stage.
Well, this would be a good little gap they could put on the sides behind them. If they can win this one. Platten beaten for it by Stretch and Healy. Healy caught, though, by Collins. That could be holding it. No, the umpire said in the back. A little bit lucky. And Johnny Platten's really worked hard today. There's Grinter. Started off on Brereton, Rod Grinter, but it was quickly moved. He was copping a real caning early in the game. Greg Healy has worked a lot harder in this quarter, played a lot better after a very poor first half. Quick hand play. Here's the Hawks again. Tucker's got plenty of time to swab. Now to Curran. Terrific backup support there by the Hawks. Now Dunstall leads. Out and forward. Gee, he didn't move too well for that. He had a strained knee a few weeks ago, and just even though he's playing well, Bernie, he doesn't twist and turn as well as he normally does. No,
I think he may be a little bit proppy. But that lead, he ran very wide also, so probably not good play there from Hawthorn.
From the throw-in, Yates right on the boundary line. Can't keep it in play. Just over 2 minutes remaining of this third quarter, and Melbourne really making no impression whatsoever on Hawthorn. The Hawks will kick 2 games clear on top of the VFL ladder, and certainly a marvellous position to be in with the finals just weeks away now. O'Dwyer gets the ball down. He was looking towards Wilson, who's been desperately quiet. Dipier Domenico comes in and soccers it off the ground, high and wide, and anything but handsome. So Lovett will get a relieving kick. Got a couple of players loose if he wants them short, but no, he elects to go long to a congested half-back zone, and McGuinness takes a good mark. One of the newer brigade that has slotted into this experienced Hawthorn lineup. To half forward, the flyer was Brereton, couldn't take it with him is Curran, so too Hall. Gets back, in trouble, loses the football, tries to scoop it out looking for Platten. Buckenara is there also. Through Curran it goes, back with Hall again. Now McGuinness couldn't take it. Morris, the whistle had sounded, and it will go back to the Demons, Danny Hughes. Hughes coming wide, Johnson or Williams. The two look as though they may combine. Johnson looked for the free kick and got it.
Well, I thought he took possession of the ball and then laid it on the ground as soon as he saw Langford coming in to apply the tackle.
Short to Williams. Back to Johnson. He goes over the centre, and O'Dwyer takes the mark. Feeds it off to Newport, but a big smother by Deere. Gets it back to O'Dwyer. His kick is a poor one. Russell Morris is there. Peter Cameron goes to ground, but he's quite okay. The ball goes over the centre, and the mark is taken by Tony Hall. He's got players streaming down the forward line. Dipier Domenico wide at a Platten, 50 metres. Kicks in towards goal. Good-looking kick. Great goal, John Platten.
And quite surprisingly, that's John Platten's first goal. He seems to have been in everything this afternoon. But once again, great play there from the Hawthorn. And it came from that smother from Greg Deere. As I said earlier, the Melbourne players, they really haven't stood up to the pressure this afternoon. Here's Dipier Domenico, an excellent long handball to Platten. And here he is, kicking from 45 metres out, another goal to Hawthorn.
22nd kick for John Platten.
Oh, what a game.
So he has been very, very busy. But as Bernie said, his first goal. So back in the middle, as Hawthorn continue to surge forward, very close to siren time. No one able to get it effectively out of the centre. Buckenara and Platten trying for Hawthorn. And another bounce will take place, but I don't think we'll have time. We won't. There it is as Alan Joyce and the Hawthorn officials make their way out onto the ground. It's three-quarter time here at VFL Park. Hawthorn lead 18-9, 117 to Melbourne, 4-4-28. It's three-quarter time here at VFL Park. Hawthorn in an unbeatable position, 18-9, 117. Melbourne, 4 goals, 4-28. And one Bernie Quinlan almost got the impression in that quarter that Hawthorn were going through the motion.
Yes, it appeared that way, Sandy, when they really set it up in that first half. You know, it was a tremendous display of football by Hawthorn in that first half. Alan Joyce going off the field. He'd be very pleased with the form of some of the players who have been out of the play in the last few weeks, and there's one of them, Johnny Platten, there on the mark. But there's not too many highlights for Melbourne. They've really struggled to get that ball up on that forward line. They've made a few changes to try and lift the side, but all to no avail because Hawthorn still outscored them in that third quarter, even though it looked as if they were really just going through the motions at some stages. But a great performance by Hawthorn. Their forwards have been superb. Dunstall with 6 goals in the first half. And, of course, Brereton set it up early in that first quarter with some tremendously strong play. Di Domenico has been a player who has been reported. He's also lifted his game. One of the other good players, Collins, who's been a very busy player, and another one, Morris, back into the side for his first game for a while. And there's Hall, who started off on the bench, and he's given him a lift when he came onto the ground in that second quarter. Here's Di Domenico, that handball across to Johnny Platten, probably the best player on the ground so far. Platten streams into goal, and a long kick for another goal to the Hawks.
The stats show Hawthorn superior in just about every department. Look at the difference between kicking and handballing as far as Hawthorn are concerned, 192 to 147 and 86 to 69, and the bottom line telling the story, shots at goal 27 to 8. Scores now, three-quarter time scores in other games. Collingwood have the job ahead of them. North lead 12-12 to 9-5. St Kilda 10-4, still trail but only by 2 points. Sydney 8-18. Geelong 10-12 look home against Footscray 6-7, and Carlton 9-16 struggling to overcome Richmond 8-9 as we go down to the boundary line and Dixie Marshall.
Thanks, Andy. Well, you could tell the difference in the side simply by the way they went into their huddles. The Hawks bustled over, heads held high, while the Demons moped over very, very slowly. John Northey's message, basically, don't spit the dummy, show some guts and finish this thing off.
Thank you, Dixie. Here we go then for the last quarter. Let's see if they can finish it off. They've kicked 4 goals in 3 quarters of football, and Hawthorn have kicked 18. Can the Hawks continue on their merry way, building percentage, or with Melbourne trying to get some respectability onto the scoreboard? Robert Di Domenico. Well, a worrying time ahead for him, having his number taken. Here we go. Into the last quarter, 28, plays 117. Centre bounce is not a good one. No one able to pick it up. Eventually Lovell, no, he can't either. It slips out the back, and umpire Peter Cameron decides to come in and take charge once again. Platten back in form, Lovell coming off the interchange bench for Melbourne. They've certainly tried as much as they can by moving their side around Melbourne, but really to no avail. Buckenara to Platten, wider to Di Domenico with courage, cop 2, and is free kicked on the second one. He's on the defensive side of centre. Yates is standing him on the mark. His kick is long. Curran over the top. Wilson has been desperately quiet but well held by Schwab. And there is Schwab. Brings it out, sending it to half forward. Hall trying to get it onto Whitman. Past Collins it went. He still tried to get it out and eventually lost out to Lovett, who can clear as he goes wide to Grinter. To the half back line, Morris. Down to Curran. Over the top to Buckenara. It sits for him. He's clear. Onto the right boot he goes with a high drop punt in towards full forward. But on the last line of defence, Sean White marks.
White moved to full back and playing on Jason Dunstall, who's kicked 6, and he's done a fair job too on Dunstall. This is Stretch getting around Peter Curran towards centre wing. Abbott one-handed, couldn't take the mark. This is Yates. He was lying over the ball. Di Domenico diving in on top of a very lucky free kick to Graham Yates.
Well, I think he was all over him in the end. But good desperation there shown by Di Domenico to hold Yates up.
Well, Yates, they're not sure. Well, gee, they're going in directly because they're under so much pressure as they hand passed off a free kick. In fact, that was. So it should have been a free kick, and the crowd picked it up. They roared. There's a long kick by Stretch. It's towards half forward. Lovell to Newport off the side of the boot. Now a chance for David Williams. A quick hand pass back to Lovett, who's worked very, very hard, as he always does, to Wilson. Oh, he's trying to be a bit fancy, Wilson. Now, will it come off? It doesn't. Oh, he really didn't have to do that. That was theirs, going back towards the boundary line. Greg Healy. And now that's a free kick to Healy because he punched it away and then was grabbed. So it'll be Healy's free kick out in that half-forward line.
Greg Healy kicked 1 goal in the 3rd quarter. Melbourne have kicked only 4 to date. So let's see what he can do. He's going to go short into the pocket. Free kick's been given away by Gowers. And so Lyon will have a shot still on a very, very tight angle. 9 kicks and 6 marks for Gary Lyon. He's right on the boundary line. And he'll kick from some 35 metres out. Using the drop punt. Good looking kick. May have just drifted across the face. Yes, it did a fraction. And 1 point goes on the board for the Demons. 4-5 to Hawthorn's 18-9, and that little demon will not be a happy soul.
Well, that fan, though, had a nice smile on the face, so she's not too unhappy. Richard Loveridge is warming up. There's a mark to Tuck. Loveridge, in the meantime, he's warming up. I'm sure they'll use him soon to give someone a rest. Michael Tuck, captain. What a great player he's been for the Hawks over the years. Schwab has played a terrific game on Wilson. Peter Schwab, one of the unsung heroes of the Hawthorn side. Doesn't get much publicity with Brereton and Dunstall and Platten and all these guys. And there he is. Well, he was warming up a moment ago. They may not use him at all, Bernie.
Well, they'd be pretty stiff to pull a player off the ground at this stage because they've all performed with great desperation and been tremendous players, the whole team.
Whitman's kick partly smothered. Pushed wide. Johnson to Stein. Jim Stein's kick going over the 50-metre line. Spalding may get a favourable bounce here. He does, but he needs support. Someone going past. Williams now. A snap at goal. Wide, very wide, and out of bounds on the full. So Gowers to bring the ball back. And the change is being made. Captain Michael Tuck is coming off for a spell, and Richard Loveridge goes onto the ground, while Andrew Gowers rushes the ball over the line for 1 behind. 4-6 Melbourne, Hawthorn 18-9, and the Hawks so far in this quarter yet to score.
Well, good for thinking that by Alan Joyce to give the veteran, give his ageing legs a bit of a rest, and a fresh Richard Loveridge on. Is a long kick out from full back. He was looking for Abbott. Over the back was Morris, who's been outstanding, to Whitman. He's a greatly improved player too. That kick was high in the air though, and Danny Hughes playing in front of Peter Curran gets out the hand pass to Johnson. Johnson, it was meant for Williams, was a poor pass. This is Abbott cleverly. Oh, that was the throw, I think. No, said the umpire. Whitman back to centre wing, and Russell Morris takes another strong mark. So he's right back in form. That's terrific news for the Hawks. Have Morris in form, that's a real bonus, because he really didn't play well early in the season. Here's Curran, another player who's back into it. Now it's Loveridge trying to get away with the ball. Taken away though by Johnson. Good play by Johnson. A short one to half forward, and the mark has been taken by Williams.
Williams, 20 possessions for the day, going short to Healy. Still well outside 50. This has been the pattern that Melbourne has been forced into. There's been nothing direct about their game. Free kick is going the way of Lovell. And at last that gentleman has something to cheer about. Pierre Domenico.
Looked like a good hard contest to me, Sandy, that one.
Coming in from the side, but the umpire judged it.
Sorry, the Brownlow medalist, he doesn't like it.
Doesn't like the decision. I can understand that too, Peter.
So Lovell, a chance to score his 2nd goal. He kicked 1 in the 3rd quarter. And he has kicked another one there.
2 goals to Anthony Lovell. He's a pretty promising player in his first year of senior football. There's Loveridge. He got the help of Platten. The quick kick by Loveridge is to half forward, where Stretch has taken the mark. And he's starting to come into the game now. A very quiet first half, along with a lot of Melbourne players. Morris, oh, what a game he's played. A terrific game by Russell Morris.
It's 10 marks to Russell Morris, Peter.
Well, He's just had the ball on a string on that half-back line. That's his best position, no doubt about that. There's Brereton getting into the back of the whole pack. Stretch to Yates. He's caught by Di Domenico. Kicked away by Stretch again. Finds Sharon, who's been very quiet. Quick kick, and again there's mark number 11 to Morris. So it's Russell Morris's day. He's on centre wing at the moment as he kicks long. Brereton at the back, or kicks out his opponent Hughes. That has to be against him. And Danny Hughes will take this kick almost on centre wing.
Hughes has had a frustrating day. Short to Healy. He goes long up towards the 50-metre line. Spalding forced to use the one hand. Jackson rarely sighted today. Ayres does great work to get it out to Langford. Floating one towards Brereton and Healy. And the latter has the football, and Dermot Brereton not too impressed about that. 14 kicks for Greg Healy. The centre half forward. And a fine mark taken by Spalding. The fizz has certainly gone out of the game though, hasn't it, Pete?
Yes, they're just going through the motions. There's the long kick by Spalding, and he's put it through for another one to the Demons.
Well, little Spalding started off at centre half back. He's had a very quiet day. 2 marks, 4 kicks and 2 hand passes, in fact. And 1 goal. So he's been moved to the forward line. Was well beaten early. Here's that mark, though, this time by Spalding. Good mark, got in front. And the kick from about 55 metres out. Aided by the wind. And there it goes. Good kick from Earl Spalding, but a very quiet afternoon.
Well, Peter Cameron about to bounce. 6-6 plays 18-9, and I'm sure Alan Joyce wouldn't want Hawthorn to just get overrun in this last quarter and allow Melbourne to kick 6 or 7 goals to their none. As Johnson have certainly picked up their work rate as Alan Johnson comes down towards the 50-metre line. He's going to have a long shot at goal. Here it comes. And just offline and through for a point. But one of those Melbourne players have had very poor stats.
He's worked hard, Alan Johnson.
Well, he has.
Been one of their better players.
Campbell's only had 1 kick and 1 hand pass. Sharon's only had a few touches.
Johnson's had, he had 20 kicks and 1 hand pass.
Well, here's Ayres bringing it back into play.
With a long kick going over the 50-metre line, fisted down to Johnson in front, who gets wide to Jackson, who shoots towards goal. That's a better looking kick at goal, and he's put it through. So Melbourne putting some respectability on the scoreboard. They've kicked 3 goals in this term, and Hawthorn have not yet scored. Deer to Loveridge, a high kick. And a fine attempt to mark by Hall, who's pushed into the ground by Stretch. Play on is the call, however. Down towards half forward, and a good diving mark taken by Brereton. Short, he's looking for Dunstall. He's found him. Well, a tough shot from this pocket.
He'll be looking for the short one here for sure.
And you can see the shot that he has. It is a tough one. He's kicked 6 to date. He's deadly accurate. Pushed that right across the face. Plenty of flyers, and it's fisted through defensively. In fact, over the line.
Brereton taking on Steins and Hughes then, and he certainly likes to liven things up.
It's in the left forward pocket for the Hawks. Steins, Hughes, but it's Hughes who thumps it straight down to Hall, who hooks it over his body, back in towards full forward, and taken over the line by Grinter. So this crowd of 37,307 have seen a good old-fashioned thrashing here today. I'm sure many were expecting to see a very tight, close encounter. Unfortunately, that has not been the case. Yates clearing over the head of Stretch. Spalding just taps it back to him, but then he gets claimed, but claimed high, said the umpire. Oh. So a limping Stephen Stretch will take the football on centre wing. He's one player, one of many who was tamed a bit early. Schwab, been a great player all day, onto the fresh legs. The running Richard Loveridge. Curran is there, so too is Hall. It is the latter. Dunstall and Curran both making space. Curran recovers well, but he's got to try and get it out to Dunstall. He can't do so And umpire Peter Cameron will come in and decide upon a bounce. In front of the small scoreboard you can see there, which shows Melbourne 7-7 to Hawthorn 18-10. It's inside 50. The Hawks having scored just the one behind for the quarter to date. Buckenara goes wide. Loveridge, a high floating kick. The whistle had sounded. That's, I think, it's a report being made here.
It's Danny Hughes.
Danny Hughes has been reported. Did you see it, Bernie?
I missed it. I was following the flight of the ball.
Yep, so was I. But
It'll be down the ground too, won't it?
It'll be a free kick to Dermot Brereton in the goal square.
And Dermot will probably try and get out of the way and give it to Dunstall, I bet.
Yeah, you have a go at number 95. It's Gary Buckenara.
Well, he copped a heavy collision during the week at training too, so he'll be feeling a bit sick and sorry.
Holding his nose there, Gary Buckenara. I'm going to have a look at it again.
Let's
Here's
have a look.
Buckenara with the long kick. Oh, there was a little bit of a high tackle there from Danny Hughes.
So
It should be down the ground, shouldn't it?
Well, it may be have been. Well, I thought it was after he kicked the ball, but
Buckenara from just inside 50 gets underneath the drop punt. It's high. Oh, great mark, Brereton. He's back.
yes, he had his name written all over that one, Dermot Brereton. Came in from the side and really flew at that one. In front again too, and that's the right place to be. A good strong mark.
So Dermot Brereton from 15 metres. The drop punt is on its way. He makes no mistake.
Well, when Melbourne defeated Hawthorn earlier in the year at the MCG, Brereton went off in the first 2 minutes of the game. And I think, talking about going off, Buckenara is coming off the ground, and coming on will be James Morrissey. There's Langford, he's been an outstanding player today. Hand pass went straight out to Newport. Newport, a quick kick to Lyon. Good battle going on there. Now, was he held? Kicked off the ground by Lovell, and it's a goal.
So Lovell's been a busy player since he came onto the ground. He's kicked 3 goals, 2 in this last quarter. There's Gary Buckenara being replaced after that collision on the outer side of the ground. But Lovell, with 3 goals, has been very busy. He's given Melbourne a little bit of lift that they needed around the packs because they were badly beaten there early. And he took the chance to come in there and soccer it off the ground for his 3rd.
Well, 3 goals, as Bernie said. A good effort by Anthony Lovell. And a very promising player he is. Made his debut a few weeks back. And his first game was an excellent one. Now, centre of the ground, Greg Healy has received a free kick for in the back, I should say. There he is with the head guard. He's really lifted his game since half-time. He had a terrible first half. There's Ayres punching it away, looking for McGuinness. Schwab's there also. Ricky Jackson hasn't done enough today, Jackson. Under these conditions, it's a small man's game.
Russell Morris has certainly done enough. He's had a grand day for Hawthorn. 34 possessions. Steins comes wide. Johnson kicks at goal. It's a pretty good looking kick too, and he's kicked it.
Yeah, sorry, Sandy, he's been a Melbourne player who's tried hard all afternoon. Alan Johnson, that's his first goal. He started off in the back line, but he's been moved to the wing in the second half and has had plenty of possession. Here's the hand pass from Lovell over to Johnson. 50-metre, good 50-metre kick, aided by the breeze. And good performance by Alan Johnson. He's had an excellent season.
(9-7) plays Hawthorn's 19-10. Hawks have added just the 1 goal for the quarter. Schwab to Platten is good football out of the middle. Down towards Collins and Sharon. Hall can't quite get there. It's with Collins now, however. It goes over the top towards Whitman. He's got to try and get it back to Collins to keep it in play. The two are sharing the football at the moment. Curran will be caught as he slips at the critical moment. Lovett. Phoebe is on the ground. Platten quickly hooks it wide. Dunstall.
A bit of luck there, I think, Bertie.
Luck's a fortune, yes. He was under pressure when he took the kick, but Jason Dunstall just happened to drift down. Bernie was on his own.
And in the right place at the right time, Sandy.
Yep.
And Sean White was watching the play rather than going with Dunstall.
And this is for number 7. The drop punt. Again, the boundary, the goal umpire having to make plenty of ground. Dermot Brereton saw it sail over and shook his head in disbelief.
He's missed a few.
Well, he's kicked 6-4, I think, Bernie, has he, for the day?
6-4, Sandy.
So he's had his chances. Williams tackled high, almost has his head pulled off, but it doesn't concern him. He plays on and gets the handball across to Lovett.
Well, the Demons really playing well in this quarter, but really the sting has gone out of Hawthorn. Back it comes to Lovett towards half forward, punched away by Morris. A top game by him. Morrissey to Platten. Little Rover, oh, he's back in form. Look at that. Beautiful play to his roving partner in Loveridge. Good use of the body, that. Will it be paid? Yes, Andrew Collins into an open goal. It's a wobbly kick, and Grinter ducks back. It was a bad kick by Collins. Grinter taking an easy mark on the chest. A hand pass to Stretch. Stephen Stretch has got a loose man wide in Phoebe. Phoebe, the Tasmanian. Slight touch of the fumbles, but he gets it to Steins, who's nearly brought down by Curran, but that pressure was enough to put him off and make the kick go to Ayres. Ayres back to Platten. He's loose, and Johnny Platten, he's got Dunstall, and a daisy cutter pass finds Dunstall. Brereton's on his own if he can get it to him. No, he's covered now, so Dunstall will kick from about 50 metres. He's kicked 6-4. And he is a beautiful kick of a football. Jason Dunstall, let's have a look at this one. He's pulled it across his body a bit. Brereton, centre of the pack, waits back, couldn't take it. Here's a chance. Collins. Oh, he's gone. Dead teacher in Melbourne at Marsland College. That's why he's so fit, and it's good to see him doing a bit of the roving, because he's been in the back pocket nearly all year. He's certainly doing well as a rover. There's a hand pass. Coming back to Johnson, to Williams. Further afield, this is Phoebe, who took the place in the selected side of Viney. The kick from Johnson towards centre half forward, but it's taken by Di Domenico. Oh, a bit of a fumble that by Scott McGuinness, but he's onto the right foot and brings it out wide, and he finds Andrew Gowers.
Gowers in the back pocket. We'll look up towards Morris, who's certainly been a very safe avenue all day. Pushed down in front, and Schwab hooks it over his shoulder. Stretch doesn't get a good bounce, and he's ducked over the line with the football, and a throw-in will take place. Both teams really just going through the motions now as this crowd of 37,000 plus is vacating VFL Park. They know it's well and truly over. Newport wide, Healy, and he's just not having a good day.
Well, the second half has really been lacklustre.
Well, it was all over at half-time, wasn't it? 15 goals to 2 at half-time. And Hawthorn haven't had the same, I don't think, attitude towards the game in the second half.
Steins to Jackson towards half-forward. The Hawthorn defence very capable throughout the afternoon. Langford has the kick partly smothered. Spalding still under pressure, though, and being put under pressure by Langford is forced over the line. So a throw in again. Abbott does it well. Platten from McGuinness. Throw in again. Bit of unproductive stuff going on out there at the moment. The ball really being bottled up. Wilson, kick partly smothered. Lovell. Jackson. Could have been tackled high as he took the kick. It's forced him to kick right across the ground, and we will see a throw in this time in Melbourne's right forward pocket.
9-7 to 2011. That certainly tells the tale. A sensational first half by Hawthorn really put paid to the chances of Melbourne. Platten, he was caught, grabbed by Langford. He's been like a rock of Gibraltar down there to Loveridge. Very fresh man on the ground, and well, they really have some talent, Hawthorn. Of course, Chris Mew's got to come back into this side as well. That's Schwab receiving to Deere. Done all right, Greg did. Probably been beaten in the hit-outs, but Hawthorn have certainly got the ball round the packs there. It was kicked off the ground by Campbell, but straight back to Swab, who's put Wilson right out of the game today. A top performance that by Swab. Morrissey to half forward, and the mark has been taken by Sean White. Now, White is almost in the back pocket. This is danger because if Curran can get back, he can't, though. Now he's there, Curran. Oh, that was terrific play to Morris. Brilliant play by Curran. The kick by Morris, though, goes straight to Stretch, who's really improved his game since half-time. The kick out wide to Lovell. Lovell to Newport. Oh, Newport doesn't sit for him. Gee, they're tired players. Now, look at them. They're really dragging the feet now. Lovell back to Newport towards half-forward. This is, in fact, Langford has been brilliant. To Abbott. To Loveridge. It's nice to have a fresh man to bring on. This is big Greg Deere showing a turn of pace now. Onto the left foot he goes, and a long kick. Andrew Collins in front. Oh, that allows his teammate and Tony Hall to crash through with it. He's got it. Oh, good play by Hall. He straightens up. Oh, what a great goal that was.
Back in the middle once again with Steins and Deere. Trying to take it out is Wilson, Lovell, Phoebe. Melbourne forward. Fisted down from Lyon. Back to Spalding. Over the top to Lyon, who will go into the open goal. He's just got to pop it on the left foot. He does that. And the Demons score their 10th.
And that's Gary Lyon's first goal for the afternoon. Started off at centre-half forward. Was well beaten by Chris Langford. Been moved to full forward, playing on Gowers. There's the replay. Spalding over the top. Lyon running into the open goal. Very easy. But I think Hawthorn have relaxed the pressure a little bit in the second half, and it's allowed Melbourne to really add a little bit of respectability to the scoreboard.
Been a little bit of case of slow motion, really, hasn't it, in the second half?
It has really, but at least Melbourne have shown something in this last quarter and haven't been absolutely annihilated. And well beaten as it is. There's Swab getting it out to Loveridge. Loveridge up to half forward, and Sean White played pretty well since going on to Dunstall. And he's marked this at half-back. He's a real goer, Sean White. As he brings, oh, this is dangerous, but it'll come off because he's found Stretch. Stretch to the half-back line. The mark has been taken by Phoebe. Phoebe, oh, he was off. He was caught. Good play, Dipier Domenico. Tapped away by Phoebe towards Wilson, who's had his quietest day for the year, I would think. Brian Wilson and the boundary umpire said it was over the line. They're into time on by 3 minutes. As we see Greg Deere to Loveridge.
Ball knocked wide as Hughes gets it onto Wilson. Ducked his head. The ball's going back. He's going to get a free kick. But Hawthorn well and truly in command of the situation here. They lead 10-7 Melbourne, and Hawthorn are 21-11. So it's going to be a big victory for the Hawks, who are going to continue to stand tall at the top of the VFL ladder as Jackson gets it down towards Melbourne's half-forward line. Lovett has an opportunity now, but he needs support. He's being pushed into the pocket. Goes with the left foot. It's a long, good-looking kick in towards goal. One behind being the result. Yes, it's going to leave Hawthorn, Bernie, 2 games clear at the top of the ladder, and really they have thrown out the warning to those other sides in the 5. Watch out, because we are back and well and truly back.
And that all-important week's break to give them a little bit of a rest in that finals, that first week of the final. So they'd have to be premiership favourites.
Healy to Wilson, who kicks blindly down in towards the forward line. Gowers is there for Hawthorn, and he marks safely on the chest. Hawthorn just going through the motions now in these closing minutes. Abbott can't take the mark, surrounded by Demons, but he'll make sure that he bottles it up. Healy eventually gets it out to Wilson, to Hughes. He's been reported. So too Robert Dipier Domenico. So it's going to be another busy night at the VFL Tribunal. Morrissey to Loveridge. Has plenty of support. Ayres goes wide to Langford. In turn to Morris, one of the best players on the ground. A fantastic return to form. He pulls that ball back. Pulls it back nicely too. And Whitman takes the mark, drifting it in towards the pocket. Dunstall's got to prop a little, and Sean White at the back will see it over the line. Dipier Domenico Still giving his all. A day of mixed fortunes for him. Deer. Healy. And a free kick's been plucked out of this by umpire Cameron. It's going to go back to Healy. Dermot Brereton's not impressed. He has a chat with the umpire, but nevertheless, it's Healy with the football.
Yes, Greg Healy in the back pocket. There's the siren.
So the final score here at VFL Park, a big victory to Hawthorn, 21-11, 137, eclipsing Melbourne 10-8, 68. So James Morrissey coming off the ground, shakes hands with Stephen Stretch. Ricky Jackson can't believe it, but it has been a pretty black day for the Demons, Peter McKenna.
Yes, and they were thoroughly outclassed. And, well, there's Earl Spalding. He had a very quiet day. They had too many of their big guns down today. Brian Wilson was quiet, taken out of it by Swab. But everywhere you look, Langford was great. Swab, Ayres in defence, McGuinness, Buckenara, and of course the forward line, Dunstall with his 6 goals, and of course even Curran did well early, as did Brereton. Hall came on the ground. They were just too good everywhere, Bernie.
Yes, completely outclassed Melbourne today. Unfortunately, it was disappointing for the crowd that came out to VFL Park expecting a close contest, but I suppose the Hawks have shown that they are the real premiership favourites. Melbourne's odds would have lengthened considerably today on that performance because, well, we expected a closer match than that. We know Hawthorn are a very good side. They had their 2 key forwards back into the team today, Dermot Brereton at centre half forward and Dunstall with his 6 goals. They also had a lot of variety in that forward line. Peter Curran kicked 3 goals, Andrew Collins kicked 3 goals, and of course Tony Hall when he came on with his 2.
So repeating the final score here at VFL Park, a big win to Hawthorn, 21-11, 137, Melbourne 10-8, 68.